All right, so 2024 Tesla Model 3. I've had it for more than 2 months now, and I've got some thoughts. Here's the thing. I mainly talk about my Tesla content and like my experiences on my Tesla channel. It's called Tesla Volt. I'll be leaving a link in the description down below. If you haven't subscribed already, I'm putting out content there, so definitely be sure to stay tuned. I didn't want to just bombard this main channel with a bunch of different Tesla content, so definitely be sure to check it out. But I still wanted to share my full experience of driving this vehicle, or I guess you could say this device, for more than 2 months now. And there's some things that's going on. They're mainly positive things, especially because I am coming from a 2012 Honda Civic. This is a huge upgrade for me. So like I said, I've been driving it for more than 2 months now, and I'm really glad to say that I waited for the refresh, and I'm happy that I waited for the refresh Model 3 to release here in the US. I think it was well worth the wait. So spoiler alert, this car is awesome, and I know the performance is now out, and that was unveiled a couple weeks ago. So I mean, if that was unveiled at the same time the long range was, I probably would have went with that, because it's also eligible for the tax incentive, 7,500. That's for a different video on my Tesla Volt channel, so definitely be sure to stay tuned to the channel if you haven't already. But nonetheless, I love this long range, and let's get right into it. Look at this exterior. It feels sportier and more luxurious when compared to the Tesla Model 3, the legacy Model 3. When we come up here, the headlights right here, they're more refined, they're thinner, they look more sleek and elegant, and I really do love just how it looks. Like, just the front fascia is clean. It definitely feels more sleek and more sporty, definitely. Nonetheless, the side profile it looks similar, but it definitely, again, feels a little bit more sportier than the legacy Model 3. The rear is where I think you can definitely kind of differentiate between a legacy Model 3 and the new refresh Model 3 right here. From the front, if you look at the headlights, like from far away, maybe you might not be able to tell, but well, at a quick glance, let me put it that way. But if you pay attention to the thinness and how sleek the headlights are, then yeah, you can tell it's a refresh. But the back right here, first of all, the first thing you notice is the T right here is gone. So there's no more just Tesla T logo. It's actually spelled out Tesla, and I think this looks much cleaner. Again, dual motor. I have the long range right here. The performance has like the plaid badge, which I would have loved to have, but again, it wasn't available when I pre-ordered this, and I actually pre-ordered literally, it was announced like January 9th. It was announced like a Monday night at like 11:30, 12, and just when I was about to go to sleep, it was announced. I was like, okay, so do I order it now or order it in the morning? But I ended up sleeping after like 3-4 hours and ordered it at like 7 in the morning. Nonetheless, it's also got these new taillights, which are looking really good. They're now one whole piece, which is something I do appreciate. So the fact that it's one whole piece, when I go ahead and I open the trunk, it just comes up just like that. And the trunk right here is very spacious. I love the trunk of this. So this is at its full length right up here. I'm about 5'9.5", like 5'10", and you know, it's perfectly fine for me. Lots of storage in there. There's lots of storage space right here. I think I might actually get some extra accessories right here. You pull down those seats, and I'll show later in the video. You can pull down the seats. You can literally sleep in the Tesla. Granted, if you put it that way, you can sleep in really any car, but I still like the fact that, you know, it's really spacious in this trunk. But yeah, again, I love the trunk space. I can fit a lot of stuff in here, like a lot of stuff. But we also have the front, and I'm actually going to get right into this. So let me just pop that open real quick. Let's hit the front. Let's open up the front, because the front has a lot of decent amount of space too. So what I do with the front is, right now, I just have my shoes that I wear, like if I'm going on a walk or if I'm playing some sports, like volleyball or soccer or whatever, like just to have these whenever, like I'm out on the go. The washer fluid right here, like you can put it right here. Before, I believe with the Legacy Model 3, it was right towards, you know, up in that corner, but it's easier to reach this because it's right in front of you. But there's a lot of front space. Here's the thing, like let's say you get a box of pizza, just throw it in here, and when you throw it in here, like, or throw any type of food in here, I mean, not literally don't throw it, but it's not gonna have your car smelling like food, so that's a huge plus. Or you can put it in your grocery bags, and it's, again, spacious. Sometimes I throw in my duffel bag and I'm all set to go. But I absolutely adore this exterior look. I love this, I think this was called stealth gray. I love this stealth gray color. Again, it was like the base, so I got a black interior with the stealth gray long range model. So I mean, it came out fairly quickly. I got it like March 6th, so I waited about 2 months, whereas I know other people who pre-ordered the long range with like a white interior, a different color, they're still waiting, and the performance was announced. So I've seen people cancel the their long range and go with just performance. I washed the car and it's already dirty. Like, I have to actually get a really big towel for the car. But look at this, like I cleaned it, it's already dirty again. Anywho, this is a great exterior. But let's get right into the interior where things are different. And I actually have, oh yes, in there I actually do have some notes, obviously. So when we sit in the interior, I think it's the best part of the car, in my opinion. Now, there's no more gear stalks, as you can see, which in the past 2 months I've gotten used to, and you will get used to. In fact, it will take you like probably like 2-3 days to get used to. After that, you're all good. In fact, I've gotten so used to it that when I drive a car with stalks, like, it's like my hand is hitting the steering wheel to press, you know, the turn signal. It's not there. So it's been really weird. So I mean, now I have to get used to using a normal car with gears. But nonetheless, I'll put it this way, it's easy to get used to. It's easy to drive. Turn signals are located on the wheel. Everything else is located on screen. So again, like, everything is right in front of you. The infotainment screen, it's super fluid, and I'm all for minimalism in this interior. I can watch YouTube videos, I can watch Netflix shows during my downtime. It's been great. Like, let's say I'm just waiting in the car, and I usually open up YouTube videos on my phone anyway, but instead of opening on my phone, now I can open up Netflix or YouTube and watch all the videos in my subscription list on this larger screen and use the speakers in the vehicle. So that's a huge plus. And there is a rear display too, and I'm going to get to that too. And I actually recently, well, last month, I went on a road trip, and my wife was in the back, and she was able to make use of that rear display, and it was very comfortable for her as well. She was able to catch up on her Netflix shows. Now, both of these front seats right here, they are heated and they are ventilated. And for me, this is a huge game changer because my previous car wasn't heated or ventilated. In fact, like, forget the ventilate, it wasn't even heated. So like in the winter, it was pretty cold. So it's a huge welcome. All these things that I'm talking about, they're huge changes and a huge welcome for me. Everything else about this interior feels really premium. Just the materials that Tesla has used in this car. And I really also just want to point out this ambient lighting is phenomenal. The one thing I wish they did was kind of in the settings, you can't really change how bright it gets. You can change like the accent lighting right here, and I want to change it to red for the rest of this video, but it doesn't get that bright. And in the dark, yeah, maybe it might be so it doesn't distract the driver and whatnot, but I know other cars you can change how bright this accent ambient lighting goes inside the car. So that's something they can, I feel like they can change that with just a software update. But everything else about this is great. Wireless charging, obviously, 2 spots right here, which is great. I love the space right here. I've got some storage stuff in here, but it's really spacious down there. It's really spacious in here. This adapter came with, pretty excited for this video, this adapter came with the vehicle. And then obviously you gotta have your to-go, tied to-go stuff. Sometimes I spill stuff on me. I got my wipes right here. I got some napkins in there, so you gotta be prepared. We got the glove box compartment, which is right here, and you have to kind of open it through, let's see where it is, glove box right there. Like that's how much I open it, because like I had to, like, for a quick second look at where it is. Now, one thing I enjoyed on this is full self-driving, and at the time of this recording, my free month does end tomorrow. So like, it's either I just completely disregard it, pay $8,000 up front, or pay $100 a month. But we're gonna get into that in a little bit. But before we do move on to the back and the rear, and I show you the rear and talk about my experience with the rear, I also do want to pretty much thank Tesla for how quiet this car has been the past 2 months. And it's great, because here's the thing, with the windows right here, it's the dual pane windows that also do help with the interior soundproofing, which is a great way to hear the person next to you. And that's what I noticed. Like when I'm driving in a normal car, like I have to speak a little bit louder, especially if I'm on the highway. But with this, when I'm on the highway, I can just speak at my normal tone, and the person next to me or the passengers behind can easily hear me. But there's that. The interior is great. Just a quick rundown. This display right here, this rear display, makes this car feel so much more premium. And again, anyone who sits here loves sitting in the back. I have not sat in the rear as a passenger for like a long road trip yet. Hopefully I will, and so I can make use of this rear display. But again, like I said, my wife sat here on the trip. She used this rear display and it used the speakers, and she was really comfortable catching up with her Netflix shows. Now, again, the one thing I mentioned, you just pull this tab and these seats do come forward, so you can kind of sleep in. That might be for a video for my Tesla Volt channel, where I sleep in my Tesla for a night. Again, I've got a lot of content coming there. Definitely be sure to check it out. But you know what? Let's talk about my driver experience, because I think that's one of the most important things when talking about a car. At least, like, I'm not the greatest with reviewing cars, but I'm sharing with you guys my thoughts and my experience driving the Model 3. So I'll put it this way, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced before, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, this is a smooth, quiet car. There have been times where I would use a normal like gas powered car, and it feels rough and loud. And again, this experience can vary from people to people, but like my Civic, when I think about my Civic, it was a little bit louder now that I think about it. But of course, it's just, my experience. Some may disagree, some may not. That's completely okay. But this, compared to that, is like 10, 20 times more quiet and smoother on the roads. It picks up very quick. Now, here's the thing though. I think this is a quick car, but it's not a fast car. So it picks up quick, but its top speed is 125. I'm not going that speed limit, obviously, but it picks up quick, but it's not a fast car. So like, it won't go like 200 miles. It won't go that range that other cars are able to. Without any gear stalks or turn signal stalks, like the turn signals are right here on the wheel. It was kind of like, again, weird at first, but I've absolutely gotten used to it. And now it's kind of weird driving a normal car that has gear stalks, and I have to kind of revert back to what I learned with the Model 3. But it's become nature for me, at least right now. The one thing I also do like is, obviously this has been happening with software updates, but when I have my seatbelt on, for example, and you know what, actually I'm going to put on my seatbelt just for the purpose of showcasing. So when I have my seatbelt on, for example, most times it's accurate. It can detect if I need to reverse or drive. So right now it detected that I need to reverse, and that makes sense because obviously there's no space in front of me. So I'm just going to tap to reverse. And there you go, and it's all set to go. So I'm gonna go back and put it in park, and that's what I love. This car just continues to keep learning as you go. It said windshield fluid very low. Yeah, Yeah, I've been using that a little bit too often lately, so I got to fill that up. Anyway, I like how this car continues to learn as you go. You know, I'm gonna actually quickly go to the back and talk about this, because like I think this is like, again, all new stuff for me, and the experience that you get with this, but also the fact that when I showed, you know, okay, so I'm in the rear right now, but I want to talk about full self-driving, because again, this is like an experience for me, at least, that like I am in awe. And I've shown this to, you know, friends and family, and they are just like, how is this happening? You know, how is this possible? Or they're just like, I've been getting positive reactions. I'll put it that way. I love it. Now it's supervised full self-driving. I have supervised full self-driving 12.3.6 at the time of this recording, but it looks like 12.4 is coming very soon, and 12.5 is in the works. Now, here's the thing. It has its flaws, but for the most part, it works very well. And from 12.3.4 to 0.5 to 0.6, it has improved a lot. And I have those videos of the car driving itself on my Tesla channel. Again, be sure to check it out if you haven't already. Now, my month, it's coming to an end, and you know what? I think I'm gonna actually go with it and continue using full self-driving for the time being. It's great though. Like, it can drive from location A to location B while maintaining the speed limit. Sometimes it hiccups and slows down, or just like hits like the brake real quick. For the most part, it's good. It stops at stop signs, stops at red lights, it makes proper turns, switches lanes, and it even parks. But the thing is, like, let's say you get to your location, right? It's just gonna, for example, I want to go to Target. It'll pull up to the front of the store, and that's it. Like, it won't go into the parking lot, and it won't park for me. I have to separately go into the parking lot and then hit auto park, and then it will park for me. So there's still that small little step in between that it needs to be taken care of in full self driving. Most times I don't need to take over, but you know, being the human, obviously I feel a little bit hesitant still, and I want to take over and take charge and just make the call, because sometimes it's very slow with making the call, especially if it's like a four-way intersection. Like, it'll wait forever, or if there's oncoming cars from the left or right, or even if there isn't, it's just super slow. So sometimes I do take over, but for the most part, like, it's full self-driving has been great. Some may argue that, like, is it full self-drive? And here's the thing, Tesla did put in front of the name, it's supervised. So again, I'm still here. I have to be awake and my hands near the wheel. It says to have your hands on the wheel, but as long as they're close to the wheel, then you're all set to go. But it's a unique driving experience, because it's, I don't know, like, I haven't seen this technology before, like, being used. I've seen videos, but seeing it in action myself is just a whole different experience. But overall, like, this vehicle is great. And just here's just like the passenger. I'll put it this way. This is where my seat usually is. I'm 5'9" and a half, 5'10", and I have a lot of space. I can stretch out my legs pretty, you know, comfortably. I have some, you know, storage right here. But if you're like 5'9", 5'10", and this, you know, the driver's the same, you have enough space back here. It's a flat, it's flat right here because of that battery. I have the weather mats, which are easy to clean, and shout out to my friends for picking this up for me. I have some extra accessories. Again, I'll be making a video of the accessories that I have for the Model 3, and I'm still in the process of perfecting the car and exactly what I want to have as accessories for this car. But just to wrap things up, with everything I've seen with this car, is it's amazing. It really is. I won't be switching anytime soon. And there's this kind of thing, okay, you know, tech YouTubers, they always get Teslas, right? I guess, I don't know, but I like this car. I really, really like this car. But I also like other EVs as well. Like, I like Rivian as well. The other competition as well. They've got some good cars, but for me, this has been great. I didn't talk about charging because here's the thing. For me, charging has been really good. I have complimentary charging in my apartment complex, which has been great. And I don't need to charge this every single day. So the max is 333 miles. I haven't seen 341 on this. I've seen 333 as the max, 100%, but I charge it to 80%. I'll charge this to 80%, which is about 266 miles. And again, my commute every day in total is about 8 miles. So essentially, I don't really, if I don't go anywhere else during the day, I don't need to charge this for probably a week. But there are days where I do commute to other places as well. And then sometimes if I don't park in the garage, I park outside. It just eats a little bit more battery during like its quote unquote standby. So just do keep that in mind. But about like ideally like 4 or 5 days I'll put in charge. That's it. And I charge to 80%. I only charge to 100 if like I'm starting off a road trip. And that's really it. And I only went on 2 road trips. Again, those videos are on Tesla Volt. 2 road trips. One was like a 400-mile road trip. The other was a 180-mile one-way coming back 360 miles. And this car performed phenomenal. And for the 400-mile road trip, I stopped once at a supercharger. For the 180-mile road trip, I didn't need to stop at all to charge this car. Here's the thing. I would recommend this car. I would recommend the Tesla Model 3. But would I recommend the long range? That's where it becomes a little bit iffy. Because for one, the rear wheel drive is much cheaper, but you only get 260, 70 miles of range. And it's 0 to 60 is a little bit slower. This one's like 4.2 and it picks up quick. If you go for the performance, yes, it's a little bit more expensive, its initial price, but you get the tax incentive, which actually brings it down to like 1,000 to 1,050. Give or like, you have to check out the exact configuration, but it's like 1,000 plus cheaper than the long range. So at that point, like, why would you go ahead and pick up the long range, pick up the performance? Again, this later on may qualify for the tax incentive, but when I picked it up and when I'm recording this right now, it did not. So for me, like at this point, I will recommend the Tesla Model 3 performance over the Model 3 long range, unless if you do need that extra like 30-40 miles, then pick up the long range. If not, performance by far is the superior Model 3 to buy, and it's gonna sell like hotcakes. I think Tesla did a phenomenal job. I've been using this for more than 2 months now. I'm almost at 4,000 miles. I've driven this a lot. Like, I really have been looking for every single excuse to drive this car, and I've really enjoyed the experience. You may agree, you may not. That is okay. I think that's what makes us unique. But here's the thing. Once this refresh is brought to the Tesla Model Y, that is going to sell like hotcakes. That is going to be a great refresh, and I think something that Tesla Model Y owners and people like who were like me before waiting to pick up a Tesla, they're waiting for the refresh. Once that comes out, that's gonna be a game changer. That's been it for me. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, definitely be sure to smash the like button, comment down below, and best of all, share this video because it really does help out the channel a lot. Will help push my content out to more people, and definitely be sure to check out more of my Tesla content on Tesla Volt. You guys voted for me to make a separate Tesla channel, but I want to bring out my main 2 months later type of experience with this car here on the main channel. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.